Okay, so hi, my name is Marie Maynard O'Connell, and I am a teaching elder in the Presbytery of Arkansas. And this is my partner, also standing for co-moderator.
Hi, I'm Arthur Fullerton. I am a ruling elder at Westminster Church in Albany, New York, and I am past moderator of Albany Presbytery.
And we thought that we would share just a little bit about why we have both chosen to stand for this servant position at this particular time, and realized that it was because of our love for the Presbyterian Church, and talking with one another realized that it had to do with a moment fairly early on in our lives, and that moment was our baptism stories. And so we wanted to share that because we found it to be really important to why we are choosing to do this thing. And for myself, goes back to where I grew up in Texas, and that I did not grow up in the church. I grew up in what I kind of think of as the buckle of the Bible Belt, the little sticky, pointy part that can stab you if you're not paying enough attention to it. It was a place with a lot of religious people, but they tended to be more conservative and non-denominational. And so I found it really hard to root myself or to connect with a particular place. And so I didn't. But I was a very spiritual kid. And when I couldn't sleep at night, I would listen to religious talk radio. And at 10 years old, one night I heard a radio preacher talking about how if you were not baptized, you were going to go to hell. And that was troubling to my young 10-year-old mind. And this radio preacher suggested that you could solve that problem by baptizing yourself in the bathtub. And so I thought that was a great solution. So I did. I baptized myself in the bathtub. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit gave you the words, and then figured, check that box. I'm done. I'm good to go. So it wasn't until I was an adult and trying to figure out more seriously what it meant to be a Christian and to join with a community. And so I found First Presbyterian Church in Conway, Arkansas, the same town that I went to school. And when I shared this story with my pastor, she very blessedly kept a straight face and shared with me that although that particular act was not decent and in order, and most importantly, an act of public worship, no, it was a bathtub, that she could see that the Spirit had been moving in my life for a very long time. And I felt seen and appreciated for the spiritual journey that I had had. And so I was baptized as an adult. And I remember feeling really mixed emotions that day because I was both proud and grateful and certain that this was the right thing for me to do. But I was also kind of embarrassed because everyone was staring at me. And I felt like maybe I was Johnny come lately and the weird one for doing it the wrong way in the first time. And instead, what ended up happening is, after she poured the water and it rolled down the top of my head and off the end of my nose, and I can see it splashing on the ground, and I feel like maybe people are laughing at me, I was still grateful and glad, but maybe a little embarrassed. And it was only afterwards that members of the congregation told me that that was the first adult baptism they had ever seen. And they'd never heard an adult voice saying yes to those questions. And it moved them. And I found myself being really grateful that I had found that community and that I had found the church, the larger church that would be able to honor my whole spiritual journey from, eager child to angry adolescent to questing adult, and that eventually I would find myself here pastoring a church. But Arthur, you have a really lovely story too. Do you want to share it?
Thank you, Marie. The day I was baptized in the First Presbyterian Church in Warren, Arkansas, my grandfather, Samuel Baker Fullerton, was also baptized as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
And he must have been, oh, let's see, 73 years old
Wow.
at that point. And So, little baby and a 73-year-old man, both baptized on the same day. And my mom was just bawling, just tears. And my 5-year-old older sister tells the story about my baptism that she really didn't understand because she thought baptism was supposed to be a good thing. And here mom was just crying, and that didn't make sense to a 5-year-old. And of course, my sister later went on to become a Presbyterian preacher, and I went on to become a Presbyterian ruling elder. So, these gifts of the Spirit come to us, and it's a wonderful thing to welcome people to the church, whether through adult baptism or infant baptism. And one of the things we would like to do as co-moderators is welcome everyone to the Presbyterian Church and have our time together be a time of mercy and welcome, and a time to reach out to those who may not have been with us in the past, but want to share this faith journey going forward. And that's what we hope to achieve as co-moderators. And we thank y'all for listening to us today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And Arthur, thank you. I hope you have a really blessed day. Bye.
Thanks, Marie. Bye-bye.